Final Four of New Jersey high school hockey has arrived as TV3 Sports comes to the Mennen Sports Arena in Morris Township for the finals of the 1996 Public School State Tournament. It's the second-seeded Green Dragons of Brick against the top-seeded Cougars of Chatham. Hello everybody, I'm Steve Tober and welcome to the Mennen Arena for our first of two championship games here this evening. The public school final, Chatham and Brick, and then the parochial final with Seton Hall and Christian Brothers Academy. You talk about tradition in the Garden State, and no two public schools exemplify that tradition any more than Brick and Chatham. They met 20 years ago in the first state championship game in the first NJSAA tournament. Brick came away with a 3-2 victory in overtime. And a person who certainly knows a lot about the history of state hockey is my color colleague here this evening, Pete Caggiano. And Pete, you talk about pressure. The second public school state tournament here tonight. Last year, Chatham lost to Montclair in overtime 3-2. This was a tournament Harvey Cohen initiated in terms of lobbying in Robbinsville with the state association. It could be a moment of truth for this Chatham Cougar team.
This Chatham Cougar team has played hard all year. They came within an inch of winning the Mennen Cup this year, I should say winning their division, and then they were upset early in the Mennen Cup. A slight setback for Harvey, but he knows his team is good, and he's worked very hard since that point. 2 victories in the quarterfinals and semifinals got them here this evening. Steve, this is it. This is why kids get up 5:30 in the morning to practice at 6 o'clock on days when they have to go to school. This is why they have those 11 o'clock skates. This is what it's all about.
It's a veteran Chatham team with 3 players who have played 4 years as varsity starters against a Brick team which comes in having played in the toughest league in New Jersey, where they tied for 4th in the regular season standings, yet they're both here tonight. It should be a great game on paper.
Absolutely. You talk about that other league, the National Conference A division of the New Jersey Scholastic League, outstanding. Chatham plays in the Mennen League. They play in the Mennen division, the top division there. And as you mentioned earlier, we have the #1 and the #2 seed here tonight.
And 2 of the winningest coaches in New Jersey high school history, Bob Auriemma for Brick Township in his 29th year with 447 wins, and Harvey Cohen with over 300, combined with Chatham Township and Chatham High School. You combine those guys in terms of their hockey experience, it's really something to point to.
Well, both coaches do an outstanding job. And not only their win record, but just take a look at the character of each man. Both teams, well-respected teams, and that comes from the coach. That comes from being involved in his league for years and years.
When you talk about top players, we begin with Brick. Maybe the top forward in the public schools this year, if not the entire state, number 16, Tom Cohen.
Oh, Cogan's a good one. 28 goals. He's a big guy, forward, likes to shoot. Notice whenever he gets the puck around the net, he doesn't hesitate. He fires the puck. And what's also nice about him, he has real good hands. By that I mean he can take a pass and give a pass real well.
And Chatham, a team with those 3-4-year veterans, one of them, number 10, Jimmy Wilson. He's got 32 goals on the year.
Jimmy Wilson, the go-to guy for Chatham, has scored many big goals time and time again for Chatham. And he's the kind of guy that when the pressure's on, he'll come through.
Now, Pete, this Mennen Arena ice, certainly familiar to Chatham. They've played 19 of their 20 games this year on this surface. Brick comes in here for only the 2nd time in regular season play. What kind of an advantage is that for Chatham?
Steve, we talked about that earlier. Brick had to drive about an hour and a half to get here for the game. This is a home game for Chatham. As you mentioned, they played 19 games here this year. That means their pregame pattern is exactly like it always is. They're able to eat their meals when they want to, get to the rink, whether it be an hour, a half hour before time, the same as any other game. Their routine is the same. For Brick, on the other hand, they had to drive an hour and a half. They got here about an hour and 15 minutes before game time. Gave them a chance to stretch, loosen up. I'm sure they're ready.
You have 2 great first lines, Cogan, Kyle Weesey of Brick, and then, of course, the line with Matt Cohen, the coach of the son of Harvey Cohen, and Jimmy Wilson for Chatham. Explosiveness by both teams, and great goalies, Dean Jankovic for Chatham, Jake Hill for Brick. What do you look for in terms of tempo here tonight, Pete? Both teams played pretty nip-and-tuck games, with Montclair losing to Chatham 4-2 in a close checking game, and then Brick knocking off Morris Knowles 3-1. Do you look for that type of game here tonight?
Well, what I see from tonight, Chatham is the bigger squad. The players are bigger, a little more physical, but I don't look for a real physical game tonight. Both teams, very good skating teams, very good shooting and passing teams. I look for a finesse game this evening.
Last year in the semifinals, it was Chatham defeating Brick 6-4. We'll see if we have that same kind of nip and tuck struggle here tonight. We've set the stage. We'll be back with the opening face-off right after this. And back at the William G. Mennen Sports Arena in Morris Township, Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano getting set for tonight's public schools final between 14-2-4 Chatham, the top seed, and 13-5-2 Brick, the second seed. Let's check the Brick starting lineup. Steve Acropolis, their fine sophomore defenseman, Justin Sorrentino, Tom Cohen, the star at center, one of the top forwards in the New Jersey Interscholastic Hockey League. Rick Amato is the right wing, Kyle Weiss on the left wing. It's Weesey. The goalie for the Green Dragons, Jake Kale, number 1. 3.3 goals against average, had a big 41 save effort against CBA in a Brick regular season victory over the Colts. For the Chatham Cougars, in the home white here at Mennen Arena, Peter Dunn, Jason Cook on defense, Matt Cohen centers for Jimmy Wilson on the right, and Fred Giro on the left. In goal for the Cougars, the veteran, Dean Jankovic. There we see Dean warming up. 2.32 goals against average for Jankovic, a 4-year starter in goal. The respective coaches, 2 veterans, 2 deans of New Jersey high school coaching. Bob Auriemma for Brick. 447 victories. There we see Robert in his 29th year on the Brick bench. Amazing record for Auriemma. And for the Chatham Cougars, Harvey Cohen, equally impressive.
Take a look at that, Steve. 447 victories. Just amazing.
Unbelievable. Our referees, Mark Laban, Larry Urban, and the face-off controlled by Chatham. Giro chases behind the Brick net. Work free, centering pass taken away by Acropolis of Brick. And Pete, we'll see how swift skating these teams are early on. Right now, Chatham trying to get on the offensive early.
Chatham knows they have to take it to Brick right away. They do not want to get behind. Brick does a very good job of protecting their leads.
And a whistle as the puck is pinned against the wall. We'll have our first face-off on the circle to the left of Jake Kale. Now we have our first line change very quickly. Both teams came out.
Exactly, Steve. Only 28 seconds into the period, and already both coaches have elected to change their lines. Now, maybe they just want to get a certain matchup out there, although it didn't appear at that time because they both changed at the exact same time. There you see Harvey Cohen, 102 victories in his 8th year at Chatham, but that's just at Chatham High School since the 2 teams combined.
And you combine his 24 years, and it's amazing, 340 victories for Harvey Cohen. Action moves to the Chatham zone where Rick able for a moment to keep it in. It's knocked back to neutral ice. The Chatham line of Kostrowski, Daggett, as Wondrous is knocked down to the ice for Chatham, and it's taken away by Kostrowski. Brick regrouping. I think Chatham, Pete, maybe trying to throw a little body as we see a line change at Brick early on to assert themselves.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Chatham is the bigger club. They're going to try to utilize that advantage, but that only works against a team you can catch.
A long pass to Wilson. Wilson comes in solo, knocked aside. Dangerous opportunity for Jimmy Wilson, but good defense by Acropolis coming back to help out. Puck kept in the brick zone. Wilson in the corner. Centering pass for Cohen. Little backhander along the side of the net and easily swept aside by Justin Sorrentino.
Great play by Acropolis there. He just hooked him enough, just annoyed him enough so that the Chatham player couldn't get the good shot off.
There's Weesey and Cogan, and a soft shot easily gloved by Jankovic by Kyle Weesey.
That time Jankovic taking no chances at all, held on to the whistle, or held on to the puck for a whistle on an easy shot.
And Pete, you talk about 1-2 combinations. Brick, Kyle Weesey, Tom Cogan, and Chatham, Matt Cohen, and Jimmy Wilson. Two of the best forward combinations. And right here, we had a shot at Weesey with the first shot for Brick Township. Now another line change. Nick Iannello with Cindy Acropolis, the granddaughter of Bob Auriemma, one of the few young ladies here on the faceoff for Brick. Puck knocked aside by Iannello.
That was dangerous. That was a quick shot right off the faceoff.
Here's Cindy Acropolis. And finally sticked away and taken by Kostrowski for Chatham. Fast-paced action here in the opening period. 12:50 to go in the opening period. No score. Pavel Kokvera, the Slovakian-born defenseman, on for Chatham. As we see frequent line changes, the Brick first line is back out. Weesey, Cogan, and Amato. Here's a puck stolen. And trying to stuff it in was Wilson, but it was knocked aside.
Jake Hale played that very well. He stood his ground, moved left with the shooter, went down on his knees and made the save.
Steve Acropolis, the sophomore defenseman, the brother of Cindy and the grandson of Bob Auriemma, the coach. Here comes Weesey down the left wing. Looking for someone to center the puck to. Finds Amato. So far, good defense, good back checking done by Chatham. Puck work free, Wilson. And Brick able to keep it in the Chatham zone. 11:43 to go, first period, no score. The public school state final here on Comcast Cablevision, TV3. Matty Cohen has to wait for his wing to come on sides and unable to do so.
And our official Mark Labe is going to call an intentional offsides and move that faceoff all the way down back in front of Dean Jankovic, and that's because it was a delayed offsides. It was very obvious. You know it was coming, and the player touched the puck on purpose, causing the whistle. And for that infraction, he'll be penalized by bringing the faceoff all the way down.
And Chatham with a line change with Doug Harder, Eric Kostrowski, Tim Daga. Kostrowski, the center, will take this face against Eddie Cash, who's the third line for Brick of Cash, Dykeman, and Hoffman. Puck steered aside nicely by Kokvora, and it's knocked down into the Brick zone. Battle along the boards. Doug Harder worked free. So far, Chatham with a better play in the Brick zone as it's knocked back to neutral ice to Kokvara, the Slovakian. Slapper from the point, kicked out aside and over the glass by Kale. Kokvara is used to a finesse game in Slovakia, Pete. He comes here, we see his ability from the point, the defenseman with a hard shot, but easily steered aside.
Well, you saw he picked the loose puck up in center ice, came over the blue line, got himself some room. Here you're going to take a look at it. Watch the move. Now the hard shot, notice he leads into it real well. Jake Hale sees it all the way, moves up his right hand with the blocker and deflects the puck out of play.
Brick's number one line with Rick Amato, Cogan, and Weesey on against Cohen, Giro, and Wilson, the top line for Chatham on the face. Giro back to the point to Dunn, and the Green Dragons able to keep it in neutral ice and a whistle for offsides.
That was real close to the line. The Chatham player dumped it into the zone, and as the other player was trying to leave the zone, he did get a piece of it with his stick, so they'll move the faceoff to where the original puck was shot.
Cogan, number 16, 28 goals, 29 assists on the season for Brick. And going back to track it down is Jason Cook for Chatham. Two excellent goalies, Kale for Brick, Jankovic for Chatham. We'll see how much they're tested here tonight. So far, no score, 10:33 to go first period. Puck kept in by Hoffman, but then steered aside. A 2-on-1 possibility, but coming back nicely is Acropolis to steer it aside. Wilson and Giro, two swift skaters for Chatham, almost had a good 2-on-1 break, but Acropolis, a tremendous defenseman, back for Brick. Iannello on along with Cindy Acropolis. Puck steered aside, taken by Kostrowski of Chatham. Kostrowski across the Brick line. Really nothing going, a 1-on-3. Kostrowski tried to solo and steered aside easily by the Brick defense. Centering pass for Daggett. Back to neutral ice. Yeah, glove flies on the ice as Doug Harder, the left wing, loses it. Then retrieved by Acropolis. Acropolis across the line, and he scores! Oh, the slapper from the point. Oh, what a shot by Acropolis, and Brick takes a 1-0 lead. Oh, what a shot that was by Acropolis, the sophomore defenseman, coming right across the line. And from the left point, puts Brick on the scoreboard, 1-0. Steve Acropolis with his 7th goal of the season. Off the face, Brick knocks it in to the Chatham end. 1-0 Brick. A very aggressive Brick team, and a whistle for a face-off on the collision in the corner there by Jason Cook, number 16, and a motto for Brick. 8:51 to go in the period. So that goal coming at 5:53 of the first period. And the Brick Township Green Dragons assertive here in the early going. Knocked back to neutral ice, retrieved by Amato, and offsides against the Green Dragons. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano here at the Mennen Sports Arena in Morris Township. The public school high school finals here on Comcast Cablevision, TV3. Face-off, Cindy Acropolis, Maddie Cohen just outside.
A hold there as number 6, Cindy Acropolis, was holding on to the Chatham stick.
And there we get the call for offsides as Cohen and Wilson came flying across. And Pete, that sudden goal by Acropolis really stunning this crowd momentarily to give Brick the 1-0 lead.
Well, that's because it looked very innocent. What happened was, as Acropolis came over the blue line, just a why-not shot from about 60 feet out, and here we're going to see the play just now that's called offsides, and that's why they upset fans here. We're on the Chatham side of the building.
Off the face, collision behind by Cohen and Sorrentino, and steered aside by Bricks. Here's Amato and Kogan and Weesey. Kogan winds up, big shot just wide.
Now see, that time they went short side. On the goal Acropolis scored before, he went to the far side.
Here comes Cohen. Knocked away by Kell, rebound. And good defensive work by Justin Sorrentino to steer it away. Maddie Cohen dangerous for Chatham.
But Kell played that beautifully, stood his ground and made the great chest save.
3-on-2, Weesey with a blast. You don't want to give Brick too many 3-on-2 opportunities. Cohen, Weese, and Amato. Line change for Chatham. Kostrowski, Daggett, Harder, back out on. 7:25 to go. First period, 1-0 Brick. Peter Dunn retrieves for the Cougars. Chatham has had a couple of nice opportunities, Pete, but Brick with those hard slappers from outside, particularly Acropolis, and that one time we saw Weese going at it. Sudden but powerful.
But notice what Chatham is doing, something they're not known for, but something that cost them the championship last year that Montclair did to them, is springing that wing for the breakaway. They look for the guy breaking up the middle, try to headman him the puck and see if they can get him in all alone.
Daggett neutralized. Daggett tried to get it in, but Kokvara retrieves for Chatham. Chatham had a little trouble getting over the blue line. Finally dumps it in, but Acropolis is back. And here come the Green Dragons. Acropolis knocked down. And he's able to dump it in.
You're not going to see too many penalties tonight. A veteran crew, a big game. It's going to have to be real obvious for them to call it.
Kept in, a centering pass, soft shot. Good check there by Kokvara of Chatham on the shot by Amato. Amato able to keep it in. Centering pass for Weese, save Jankovic. Rebound, goal! Amato! 2-0 Brick.
That time just a turnaround shot from right inside the slot. And it looks to be Tom Cohen, the senior, with that shot from about 15 feet out. And I think that time Dean Jankovic just wasn't ready for the shot. It was a quick one. Now we're going to take a look at it. This swirling type shot like that is real tough to handle. He was already down in his butterfly, and once you go down, you limit your lateral mobility, and he got beat for the second goal.
And Pete, the work of the grinder, Rick Amato, keeping that puck in was a key part of that goal.
Brick is definitely carrying the play now. They're buzzing around the net. They're like sharks, and they smell the blood. And that's the kind of killer instinct you need to win these type games. You can't have a lackadaisical or an easygoing attitude. You must want to beat your opponent, and you must want to beat them strong.
Cohen with his 29th goal of the season. First team all New Jersey Interscholastic Hockey League All-Star. And he's given Brick a 2-0 lead here with 5:48 to go in the first period. Chatham back out with their first line. A long pass. Here comes Wilson across the line. Shot by Cohen, score!
Oh, that was a beautiful setup. A 2-on-1 that actually a good job by the defenseman from Brick to poke check the puck away. But the trailer for Chatham, Matt Cohen, blasts one by Jake Cale, and they cut the deficit to just one. Watch this play right here. There you're going to see nice play by Justin Sorrentino as he takes the man, but who's following up the play but Cohen? And a shot off the wrong foot. Look at that. He shot off his right foot, puts it by Jake Cale to the stick side, and with 5:39 remaining in the first period, it is now a 2-1 game.
Matt Cohen with his 15th goal of the season to cut that deficit in half. It's now 2-1 Brick.
And Steve, that woke the crowd up.
Off the draw, Wilson easily steered aside by Cale. Rebound loose in front and knocked back just through near the crease and steered aside nicely by Vinny Ruiz.
That was a great save by Jake Cale. That puck was knocked out of midair, and he somehow got his left arm to knock that shot away.
The action is fast-paced here in the opening period. 5:13 to go, 2-1. Cale comes out of the net to steer it aside, and we have an icing against the Cougars. 5:08 to go.
Chatham answering the bell when they went down 2-0. They didn't sulk. They came right back in a beautiful goal by Cohen to cut that lead. And as I mentioned before, a shot off the wrong foot, which is real tough to do, but it was in so close that Jake Cale had no opportunity to make the save.
So it was Cohen at 8:55, and coming right back as a battle in front. A little bit of heated emotions. Iannello mixing it up for a moment there with Alan Ayer. There we see a good shot of Iannello.
And I think our official, Larry Urban, will take one from each side.
5:05 to go. It was Cohen at 8:55 and then Cohen at 9:21. So quickly there. And we'll see them both go off. So we have our first penalties here.
That's Alan Air right there. You sort of discussed as he punched the boards in front of him. Not where you want to be in a championship game. You don't want to lose any ice time at all.
Amato and Wilson will take the face to the right of Jankovic on this 4-on-4 situation for 2 minutes with 5 minutes to go. In a 4-on-4, Pete, you might have to give the advantage to Brick when they have Weesey and Cohen out there, but right now they're going with Amato, Cohen, Acropolis, shot on, steered aside.
I'm not so sure about that, Steve. Remember we talked about this being Chatham's building. And when you have fewer players out there, it opens up the ice a little bit. And also what happens is you use the boards as an extra player, pucks and bounces off the boards. There we see again Chatham trying to spring that wing.
And here's Cohen. Big shot, steered aside, deflected nicely off the stick of Cook. Acropolis kept it in. The one thing Bob Auriemma mentioned, Pete, before the game, the larger space behind the nets here at Mennen compared to what he's used to down at Ocean Ice Palace or American. And Chatham's certainly used to the differences here in the ring.
Absolutely, Steve. Here they have 12 feet between the goal line and the end boards.
Amato battling behind the net alone with Pete Dunn, and Dunn pins him, but steered aside and kept free by Cohen. Gets it back to Acropolis from the point, just wide. That's where he scored before.
I think Jankovic got a little piece of that shot.
Acropolis powerful from the point. He scored earlier to give Brick a 1-0 lead. Here's Acropolis again across the Chatham line. Steered aside by Kostrowski. Eric Kostrowski into the Brick zone. Fakes the shot and sends a soft one on which Kale covers up. We'll have a face-off. 3:25 to go first period, Pete, 20 seconds on the penalties.
Both goaltenders had an easy first half of the first period, but in the second half, they've been peppered with shots from both sides. Jake Kale playing outstanding there. That save was tougher than it appeared. As Kostrowski first faked the shot, then came and shot from a real tough angle, but kept the puck low right on the ice and almost snuck it between the legs of Jake Kale.
Kostrowski and Cohen off the draw. Sorrentino playing it back along with Ruiz. Vinny Ruiz, a transfer from Lakewood, just a freshman, number 18. Here's Weesey, steered aside by Jankovic. Weesey looks to center. Now he looks to sweep it. Defenseman not really coming on right away. That time we saw Coquera finally going after Weesey, but he left him a lot of time.
Crowd cheering as a big hit put on there by the Chatham defense.
Cohen coming back.
And Steve, you mentioned about the Chatham defensemen not challenging, and that's because they respect the speed and the ability of the Brick team. Because if you challenge and you're wrong, then the man beats you and you're all alone.
Both teams 5 aside for the final 2:32 of the period. Brick with a 2-1 lead. Cleared out. And regrouping is Vinny Ruiz. Long pass across 3 lines. Intended for Iannello.
But here in high school hockey, there is no 2-line pass. The red line is used only for icing, not for passes. You can take a pass from your own defensive zone all the way up to in front of the attacking zone.
Jimmy Wilson flips it down into the Brick zone for Giro. Acropolis checks him off. Brick doing a nice job of back checking so far here in the first period. Here's Cohen, drops it for Giro, but offsides. Nice idea by Cohen, but Giro just not able to get over the line.
I'm not sure if it was an idea by Giro or just got knocked off his stick. But it worked out to a drop pass. Unfortunately, not quite kept in the zone. It did sneak over the line and then brought back in, and that's why we have the whistle.
1:51 to go first period. 2-1 Brick. You're watching high school hockey here on
There we see it right there as the puck just snuck over and then was brought back in by Fred Giro.
Puck knocked down. Here comes Kostrowski, leaves it for Harder. Well, Harder's checked off.
Again, that swarming defense by Brick does a good job.
Eddie Cash clears out. Brick with its third line out. Eddie Cash, John Wandrus. Here comes Harder. Harder warded off. Chatham fans looking for a penalty as Bray worked it free. The battle in front, steered aside by Kell. Here comes Wandrus, who clears it out.
Brick will take the icing right now as they dodge the bullet. That easily could have been a penalty against Brick, but as I mentioned earlier, unless it's real obvious, you're not going to get a call in this game. And then another opportunity by Chatham as the puck was knocked right out of midair. Here's the first play. Let's take a look at this. What you see the arm. Our camera angle from behind the net shows right there. As the arm was wrapped around, that's Randy Bray. And now we're going to see the first backhand. Great save, and it banks off the post, and then you see the other shot go right through the crease. Two excellent chances for Chatham, but no goal this time.
Off the draw, Chatham keeps it in. Wilson centering for Giro. Stopped by Kell, rebound, stopped by Kell.
Two great saves by Kell, both point blank.
Cogvera tries to keep it in, and finally, Amato works it free. Amato, though, checked off. And here's Cogvera, who knocks it over.
Wow, the first 5-7 minutes of this period, they were feeling each other out. They were not playing that aggressive, assertive style. But ever since the very first goal for Brick, like woke everybody up, and now they're playing.
There's Harvey Cohen on the Chatham bench, very patriotic, with the American flag on his left shoulder.
And the pencil in the ear.
Always keeping those statistics and little notes for in-between period discussions. We're down to 39 seconds to go in the first period. 2-1 Brick. Steve Acropolis at 5:53, Tom Kogan at 8:55, and Cohen at 9:21. Here's a save by Jankovic. Off the shot by Weesey. Weesey loves that left shot from the left wing side. Here's Acropolis keeping it in. Set it in front and steered aside. Kogan tried to get his stick down. Centering pass for Amato. Rebound, great save by Jankovic, who steers it aside.
Whoa, what pressure by Brick. Two great chances in front, just couldn't quite find the handle.
Sorrentino keeps it in for Brick, and Kogan chases down. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's the end of an electrifying, fast-paced first period. The Chatham Cougars cut the deficit in half. Pete Caggiano.
Steve, you can't say any more. We had a tremendous action-packed first period. I think both guys are now going to the locker room, regroup a little bit, and come out hard again for the second.
2-1 Brick. At the end of the first period, we'll be back with more right after this. And a great crowd here at the Mennen Sports Arena in Morris Township. The fans flocking to see the public school state final as we get set for second period action. Brick leading Chatham 2-1. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano, and Pete looking at the first period. Steve Acropolis at 5:53 put Brick up 1-0. A shot from the left point. Then Tom Kogan, his 29th goal of the year for Brick. 2-0 Green Dragons at 8:55, and the 9:21. Matt Cohen put Chatham on the board for a 2-1 deficit.
That's an amazing statistic. 5 state titles, 7 Gordon Cups, all under Coach Bob Auriemma. That's why he's the winningest coach in high school history.
And Harvey Cohen, equally impressive. in terms of his longevity and his victory totals for his 24 years. Harvey with 340 wins at Chatham Township and Chatham High School combined as we face off here to start the second period. Kyle Weesey as the puck is deflected by Cook. Brick in their road green. They had the better of play for the most part with 11-9 advantage in shots, but Chatham certainly had opportunities. Another shot knocked away by Jankovic, kept in by Iannello. Hogan steered aside by Jankovic.
You saw Jankovic on that play. The shot was flipping, not particularly hard, so he couldn't lunge at it. He had to wait for the puck to come to him. After making the initial save, the rebound came right back to him, and he went down quickly, used the stick on its side, and made the save.
Giro tries to get it out, but it's kept in by the Green Dragons. Kogan moved aside, gets the puck back.
Again, Steve, we're on the Chatham side, and there was a kind of a late hit there by the Brick player in the Chatham crowd looking for a whistle, but they're not going to get one. But we're going to get a penalty here, though.
Have a penalty. And retrieving and the touch by Bray.
It's going to be an interference call. And this one was called because it took away a scoring opportunity. That time, the Chatham player, Matt Cohen, was going after the puck. There you see Larry Urban giving a signal for interference, and his skates were taken out right at the last moment. We're going to take a look at it. See right there? He kind of dragged his left leg, kept the back of his leg out in the way, and when Cohen came by, he caught a piece of him as he was chasing after that loose puck, and that's why he sits in a box.
Randy Bray goes off for 2 minutes, and the first man advantage here on the power play tonight as Chatham will go to work, and they bring out their number one line, Cohen, Giro, and Wilson, working with Paolo Coquevara and Peter Dunn, and Coquevara has a very good shot from the point. The face to the left of Jake Kell. Cohen keeps it in. Wilson very patient. The Cohen combination very strong here. Dunn, Coquevara, and Giro. Coquevara thought about it. Gets to Giro. After Coquevara winds up, steered aside, deflected nicely by Amato. The puck in front and knocking it back to Coquevara was Kogan. Peter Dunn with a good shot. Saved by Kale. Cohen with a rebound, but Jake Kale once again, Pete Caggiano coming up big.
Well, that time Jake Kale had the shot right in line. He was square to the shooter, and as the shot came from the point, he was able to smother it. I think that might have caught him a little bit below the belly, though. As you see, he's a little bit of pain right there. Goaltenders do wear a lot of pads. We're going to take a look at this shot. Good shot, left-handed shot right there. He went down early, and it caught him right in the breadbasket, or possibly a little bit lower the belt than the belt line. And he's taking his time right now.
Jake Kell a little bit shaken up. Had a big 41 save effort against CBA back on February 12th. They said he stood on his head in a 4-3 victory for the Green Dragons over CBA, who had beaten Brick earlier by a 10-0 score, then came back to beat Brick 8-1 in the Gordon Cup semis.
And Steve Kale's just a junior, so he'll be back for the same Brick Dragons again next year. There you see he's just getting his wind back as at this level they shoot the puck somewhere in the neighborhood of about 60, 70 miles an hour, and that's pretty good. It comes at a good clip, and he's just trying to get his wind back as he caught one below the belt.
Coach Bob Auriemma with a green jacket on along with the Brick trainer. And Pete, you look at the way these teams got here. It was a not so strenuous road until the semis. Brick defeated Heightstown 6-2 in the first round. West Windsor 4-0 in the quarters. Morris Knowles 3-1 in the semis. Chatham defeated Toms River East 5-0 in the first round, then Cranford 5-1 in the quarters, and then Montclair, the defending public champions, 4-2 in the semifinals to get to this point.
And that had to be sweet revenge for Chatham to beat Montclair, because remember, it was last year, right, this same building, and we had the game right on TV3, where Montclair in overtime beat Chatham for the public school championship.
And the Brick fans very happy that Jake Kale, their goalie, is back on his feet. And we'll get set to return to action. 1:20 left on the interference penalty to Randy Bray, the defenseman for Brick. So Chatham on the power play for another 120.
Now, Steve, what this also does, it allows Chatham to keep their power play unit out there because they just got a 2-minute rest while Cale was being attended to.
Great.
So now they're fresh and ready to go for the last minute 20 of the penalty.
Great point. Cohen, Giro, Wilson, along with the two fine defensemen, Kochvara and Dunn. Off the draw, Dunn slips it to Wilson. Acropolis trying to keep it out. Here's Wilson in the slot, unable to get his stick down, and it's steered aside. Wilson with a good opportunity. Still a minute to go on the interference penalty against Brick. Dunn waits the setup. Dumps it in the corner. Acropolis, though, able to clear out for Brick.
Steve, Chatham cannot afford to give up those good opportunities. That time they had the puck right in front, about 20 feet outside the cage. Had Cale at his mercy, and he couldn't find the handle to get the good shot off.
Here comes Cohen. Fires it into the Brick end. Cale steers it aside. Kochvara, he loves from the left point. He winds up, saved by Cale. Cale with a very active stick in net. Kochvara gets it back again. Cohen comes in, steered aside, rebound, score!
Oh, great heads-up play by Chatham that time, as after he took the first shot, he did what all good players do. Whether it's hockey or basketball, you follow up your shot. You go to the net. You don't allow anything to stop you from putting the puck in the net. And that time, Matt Cohen, his second goal of the evening, takes the pass right about the top of the circle, steps in. Here we'll take a look at it. First shot saved. Cale can't quite hold on to the rebound, and Cohen charging the net, taps it home just inside the post. And that power play goal pulls us even at 2.
The goal comes at 3:47 of the second period. Matt Cohen with his second goal here this evening, his 16th on the year. And we've got a good one here from the Mennen Sports Arena, 2-2 in the public school final. Offsides against Chatham. 12:07 to go in the period, so Chatham does take advantage, Pete, of the opportunity, regroup themselves, and they do deadlock this game.
At first, Steve, I thought they were too deliberate on their power play, passing too much and not getting any good shots off. But the thing they did, once they did get the shot off, they crashed the net. That's where the action is. If you want to score, that's where you have to be.
Puck knocked all the way down behind Dean Jankovic. Malacca unable to control it, and here comes Peter Dunn. Dunn, the fine senior defenseman, a 4-year starter. He dumps it into the Brick end, and Acropolis will retrieve. Work free, Kostrowski, knocked down nicely by Amato. Back to neutral ice, and it's taken by Malacca. Malacca and Iannello. Good check by Dunn along the far boards. Iannello centering pass. Soft shot steered aside by Jankovic on Sorrentino's blast. And Dunn able to slide it along the boards.
Steve, now we have to see how Brick reacts. When Chatham was down 2-0, they came back strong and played real hard. They actually stepped up the pace of the game. Now the last 2 goals were scored by Chatham. Let's see how Brick reacts.
And play has been in that Brick end, Pete, for much of the start of this second period. Giro fighting along with Wandrus for control. Kept in nicely by Wilson, and Iannello tries to get it out. Centering pass intercepted by Sorrentino. Sorrentino driven off by Kochvara. I like what I see so far of Paolo Kochvara. Here's a shot by Weesey, rebound. Good alert play by Kochvara. Weesey in close, save. Jankovic, he covers up.
Nice job by Jankovic again, squaring himself to the shooter. Went down a little early, but he knew he had the angle cut off real well. Smothered the shot, and then you see what he did. He reached out with the stick and gathered in the rebound so there would be no second shot.
Bob Auriemma, his team was up 2-0. It's now tied at 2. Let's check this replay.
Watch, there's the first shot. It deflects. Now watch, that's Weesey right there. Quick shot off the pads. And notice right there, Jankovic reaching out with the stick, corralling the puck back towards his glove hand and then holds on for the whistle.
We've seen great play by both goalies. Jankovic for Chatham, Kale for Brick. Off the draw. Cook ridden off by Amato. And finally cleared out of the zone. But Acropolis sends it over the boards. And we'll have a face-off. With 10:08 to go in the second period, we're tied at 2. Steve Acropolis, he had scored the first goal here this evening. 9:07 in.
And he's just a sophomore, Steve. He scored on that wraparound attempt, or I shouldn't say wraparound, but spin-around shot from in the slot that caught Dean Jankovic off guard.
Cook and Dunn working as a tandem on defense. Kostrowski out along with Daggett and Harder in the second line for Chatham on this shift. Ionello comes back. Ionello looks to wrap it around. Saved by Jankovic in the slot. In the crease and covering up also is Cook. Little dangerous play there. Nick Ionello, the sophomore left wing, tried the wraparound, almost stuffed it home.
That was real close because he did a nice job of coming out from behind the net. Chatham allowed him to do that, and that's a no-no. Here we're going to see the puck when it first comes into the zone. It's chased down deep into the corner, and then when he comes out on the other side, real nice to step inside the defender there. Now watch right here, he comes around unchallenged. See that opening right between Jankovic's legs? That's what he was shooting for. He just missed the mark.
A dangerous first line for Brick. Amato, Kogan in close. In front, Weesey with a rebound. Battle in front. Oh, what a job by Jankovic to cover up.
Wow, a tremendous save by Dean Jankovic. That time, Weesey had the rebound about 5 feet out, right up at the top of the crease. He banged at it twice, but couldn't find the handle as it was bouncing around. Another bullet dodged by Chatham. There you see Harvey shouting instruction. He knows that was close.
And you talk about teams like Christian Brothers Academy, St. Joe's, Montville with their great lines. But this first line for Brick, Amato, Kogan, and Weesey is an awfully good one.
Oh, they sure are, Steve.
Kogan and Cohen will take the face to the left of Jankovic. And able to clear out was Cohen. Wilson trying to track it down with Acropolis in the Brick zone. 9:29 to go in the second period. We're tied at 2. Last year in the semifinals, Chatham came in with a 6-4 victory over Brick, and then went on to lose to Montclair in overtime in the final 3-2. Cohen slips. And back to neutral ice. Regrouping. Slipping it in was Kogan. Malacca able to work it free. Wilson tries to go solo and steered aside by Kale. Centering pass by Wilson, and Kale will cover up with 8:47 to go in the second period.
There you saw Jimmy Wilson come in one-on-one. The puck just a little bit too far in front of him. He wasn't quite able to make the move and walk around. He takes this puck right from center ice, and right here he's going to come up and challenge the Brick defenseman. Tries to slip it between his legs, but nice job.
Sorrentino helping out on defense number 10 for Brick and warding off Wilson's solo effort.
And we talked about sophomore Sorrentino again, just a sophomore.
Cook off the draw with a hard shot, and Kale covers up. You see the Chatham defenseman, Pete, getting great shots from the point here tonight.
Well, that's because the forwards are feeding the point. That's the key to that. You want the point to get off shots, you have to give them the puck. The forwards have the puck deep. The Brick forwards are not covering, and then the Chatham forwards are able to dish it back. And when that happens, they get the shot.
Here's Cook once again. Kostrowski trying to get his stick down. Ionello retrieves, and he sends it down looking for Malacca. Malacca, no one to pass it to. Malacca centers. Coming away is Doug Harder. Harder able to knock it back to neutral ice. Action settling down a little bit after a quick start. It's stolen. Here comes Harder. Fans on the shot.
I think it was Sorrentino again, just getting a piece of the puck, knocking it off his stick. Another great job by that sophomore.
Doug Harder with the opportunity, the senior left wing for Chatham. Cook back to retrieve, and we get the icing call.
Brick looking for a line change, just wanted to regroup. Get a moment.
The Chatham Cougars. Well, it was the borough that won 3 Gordon Cups and the Township Cup 1 before Chatham High School. The regional formed in 1988. The borough going back to the days of John Treecarton and then Paul Chaput before Harvey Cohen at the Township. 7:49 to go in the period. Face off to the right of Jake Caleb Brick, Amato and Cohen. Giro in front, score! Hat trick for Cohen.
That quick shot, Matt Cohen, turnaround spinning shot as he picked up the loose puck right about the face-off dot and spun it just past Jake Cale. A low shot on the ice just outside his glove hand. Here we're going to take a look at it right there. And there you see the quick shot by Matt Cohen, number 24 to center, as he picked the puck off Fred Giro's stick. Giro was the center. The puck was sitting right there at the face-off dot. And Cohen scores his 3rd goal on a quick spin-around shot, very similar to the other goal scored a little earlier. And now Chatham has come all the way back with 3 unanswered goals to take a 3-2 lead.
Matt Cohen from Giro. Here's Wilson off the face. Comes in, backhanded, stopped by Cale. Another dangerous opportunity.
Jake Cale, that was a tremendous save. How deflating would it have been to have Chatham score another goal just 10 seconds after they took the lead? But that time, Jake Cale stayed with Giro, as Giro had a clear breakaway from the blue line in. He tried to go to his backhand. Cale slid to his right, smothered the shot, and then held on for a whistle.
So it was Matt Cohen with his hat trick 3rd goal here today, 17 on the season. It's 7-16. Fred Giro on the assist, 3-2 Chatham. Rick trying to get out of the zone, but kept in by Harder. Daggett pokes at it, finally knocked back, and retrieving for the Cougars is Alan Ayer. Daggett dumps it in. 7:11 to go. Pete, since midway through that first period, Chatham has really taken over the better of play.
Absolutely, Steve.
Malacca in a collision with Pogvara worked free, and Malacca dove at the puck, and Jankovic covers up. Malacca without his stick.
Well, he could not score a goal that way because the puck could not be propelled with anything other than the stick towards the net, and if it did go in, it would not have counted. But I think Brick got away with him right there, because that time Scott Malacca, watch what he does. He jumps in the air and elbows the Chatham player. They were very lucky not to get called with a penalty right there. And here you see him dive, and he tries with the hand just to knock the puck into the net. But even if it did go in, it would not have counted.
Amato's shot off the draw is deflected. Weesey and Dunn, the 2 17s, go at it. We'll have another face with 6:50 to go in the second period. Chatham with a 3-2 lead. Thanks to Matt Cohen at 3:47 of this period to tie, and then at 7:16 to put his team up. The Township won 3 Mennen speed, and they haven't won since 1981.
They won the first year in 76 and 77, and then you said 81, so it's been a while.
Centering pass, Giro. Here's Chatham with a 3-on-2 potential. Wilson looking to center back and taken away nicely by Amato of Brick. On the left wing to Weesey. Weesey comes in, slips it just wide. Kyle Weesey, always dangerous for the Brick Township Green Dragons. Here's Wilson on the receiving end.
There again, Steve, they're trying to spring that far wing, as even Brick is trying to do the same thing. When it works beautifully, but when it doesn't work, sometimes it can backfire.
Cook and Ruiz battling for it. Kept in. Here's a shot saved by Jankovic. Off the shot by Acropolis. Acropolis again sends it high, and it's tipped in by Cogan. We're tied at 3.
And Larry Urban was standing right there. The Chatham players are protesting. They thought it was a stick higher than 4 feet. but I believe it was just under the crossbar. The puck was high, it came down, he didn't touch it until it was about waist high. A beautiful move by Tom Cohen. That time Yankovic had no chance at all as it was deflected and bounced between his legs. Again, the play starts from the point. There's the shot from the point. It's a floating shot. Now watch the right-hand side of your screen. Right there, you see him touch it with the blade of the stick, takes one bounce and skips in between the legs, and Brick has tied it up with a beautiful goal.
That floater just kind of throw off your timing as a goalie. Cohen very alertly putting it in for his 30th goal of the season. We're tied at 3.
Well, again, it was Steve Acropolis from the point, the sophomore. You mentioned earlier about using points. When the forwards get the puck back there, things happen. Rebounds, deflections, tip-ins, just like you saw. But again, the good work of going to the net. You must go to the goal. That's where the action's going to be.
And a big one for Brick, considering that Chatham had carried the play the first part of this period, and Brick's right back in it.
Absolutely.
Off the draw, Kostrowski and Harder come out for Chatham. But Kostrowski's checked off nicely by Acropolis, Steve Acropolis. Paolo Kokvera, the Slovakian defenseman for Chatham. Kept in by Cindy Acropolis momentarily, and then dumped in and offsides against Brick as Hoffman shot from outside the blue line. With 5:15 to go in the second period, we're tied at 3.
There you see a look at the Brick bench. They have to be happy they were outplayed the first half of the second period, but some real good hard work, a deflection in front, and they pulled themselves even. And Brick has won the first game way back in '76, beating this Chatham Township team 3-2, and that was an overtime game. And this year will be the 21st tournament for the high school ice hockey trophy.
And Chatham has never won a state championship, and the township and borough merged into the current regional high school in 1988. And Harvey Cohen's best chance might be this year. It's a senior-dominated team. Jimmy Wilson, Peter Dunn on defense, Dean Jankovic in goal, the anchors. And right here with 5:10 to go in the second period, we've got ourselves a great one, 3-3. Off the draw, Cook, the neutral ice. Lionello tried to keep it out. And here comes Cohen.
Steve, he fanned on that pass. He had the man open. He was trying to get it to him, but he couldn't quite get it on the
Cohen
stick.
centers. Jankovic steers it aside. Acropolis keeps it in. 4:40 to go in the second period. Here's Weesey with a rebound by Amato.
That was Peter Dunn who got a piece of that shot and deflected it, and it never reached Jankovic.
Amato slips. And Cohen will try to regroup for the Green Dragons. Randy Bray. Get a line change. Malacca, Ionello. Back on along with Cindy Acropolis, one of the few young ladies to play New Jersey high school hockey. Cindy Acropolis, the junior center and granddaughter of the coach, Bob Auriemma. Sorrentino off the stick of Cindy Acropolis. Here's Malacca, though. Nobody back to help out, but the drop pass and steered aside by Peter Dunn, who clears out.
That'll be on net, Steve, so there'll be no icing.
3:45 to go, second period. 3-3. Malacca with a nice behind pass attempted for Dykeman. Daggett tries to keep it in. Vinny Ruiz, the transfer from Lakewood with the puck. A great freshman for Brick. Ruiz across the Chatham line. Comes in. Deflected aside.
Good save by Jankovic. That time Ruiz shot low to the stick side, and Jankovic stayed with him, stuck out the right pad, and made the save.
Giro drops for Cohen. Potential 3-on-2 for Brick. Sent in by Sorrentino.
I think if he had to do that over again, that was a 4-on-2. He wouldn't have dumped it in, even though it was a line change. He would have tried to make a play out of that situation.
2:51 to go, second period. Good battle along the boards, steered free and retrieved by Acropolis of Brick. Cohen tries to look for Amato where we see unable, as Dunn does a nice job of back checking. Paolo Kokvara, the Slovakian defenseman, steered aside by Giro, and here's Cohen and Cohen, the two stars so far tonight. Cohen with 3 goals for Chatham, Cohen with 2 goals for Brick. Kyle Weesey.
Steve, did you see what Weesey just did then? As he was coming in, he was being hooked a little bit. He switched hands.
And it's got deflected in! Acropolis' shot went off the stick of Cohen. 4-3 Brick.
I don't know if it went off Cohen or if it went off Peter Dunn, because Cohen didn't jump in the air. If he scored it, he would have been the first one to jump in the air. I think it went off the defenseman, Peter Dunn. So they'll credit the goal to the Brick defenseman who took the shot from the point.
That was Acropolis.
Watch, take a look at it. Here's the play that starts in the corner. Good hard check there. That time, Giro couldn't get the puck out of the zone, and right there you see, yep, it goes off the skate of Peter Dunn and into the net. If Cohen had scored it, he would have been jumping.
So Acropolis puts Brick up 4-3.
Good hard work here by Brick to put themselves in good shape at the end of the second period.
So Brick answers back after the Chatham 3 consecutive goals between the first and second period, and Brick has regained the lead. Lionello lost his stick, broke. Here's Harder to Kostrowski, but Kale able to come out. Kostrowski is piled up in the corner, loses his stick.
Again, that swarming defense by Brick. 2 guys on the puck all the time.
1:16 to go in the period. 4-3 Brick. Steve Acropolis, certainly one of the stars so far, with 2 goals, as Jankovic steers his way the shot from Hoffman. We're in the final minute of the second period.
Brick employing some of Chatham's earlier strategy, which is headman the puck right away, try to get that wing right at the blue line, and spring them in for a breakaway.
Wilson winds up and deflects off of Kale and over the glass. Nice save by Kale on the blast from Wilson.
Steve, I heard pipe. That hit Kale in the shoulder, then it hit the pipe and went out of the ring. That was close. There you take a look at the big forward.
And what a big shot by Wilson.
Absolutely. Jimmy Wilson cranked that shot. It hits Kale in the shoulder, goes off the crossbar, and then goes out of play.
39 seconds to go in the second period. Face-off. Matty Cohen will take it, as Chatham certainly has another chance at a good opportunity here in the final half minute. Wilson, Giro, Cohen. Very potent first line for Chatham. And they've accounted for all 3 goals off the stick of Matty Cohen here so far tonight. Off the face, Brick tries to get it out, as Dunn is unable to keep it in. And here comes Malacca. Malacca centering pass, but Cindy Acropolis nowhere near the puck. We're down to 20 seconds left in the period. Kokvara battling with Malacca and Ionello. Paolo Kokvara, an exchange student from Slovakia, helping out defensively for Chatham, winding around by Malacca. Rebound, and Jankovic falls on it, as Ionello got his stick down on it. It was almost 5-3 Brick, Peter.
Great save by Jankovic with just 8 seconds remaining. That time it was Cindy Acropolis in front, almost poking home the rebound. That could be called a game saver, because if they went up by 2, if Brick had a 2-goal lead to take into the third period, they'd be awful tough.
Weesey to take the draw with just 8 seconds left in the period. Back to the point to Ruiz. A nice block by Cohen. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's the end of the second period. Another action-packed period in the middle period.
Steve, what momentum swings. It was Chatham in the beginning, went to Brick, back to Chatham. Brick comes back at the end. We're seeing it all tonight.
So Steve Acropolis at 12:54 of the second period puts Brick up 4-3. We'll take a timeout and be back with third period action right after this. And back at the Mennen Sports Arena, Pete Caggiano, Steve Tober. Let's take a look at some of these highlights, Pete.
This is Chatham's third goal. There you're going to see quick snapshot right off the face-off dot, and for Cohen, that's his third goal of the evening. He gets the natural hat trick for Chatham. At that point, Chatham was leading 3-2, but Brick comes back. This is the controversial goal. This is the one. It was high, but notice when he deflects it, the puck is a little bit above the waist. It came down. It was floating high, but he didn't touch it with his stick until it was below the waist, and Cohen scores to pull the game even at 3. And then this is the backbreaker. This is Acropolis from the point, and it unfortunately deflects off the skater Peter Dunn right there. Dean Yankovic had no opportunity as the puck changed directions, and when it comes off your own play where you're not prepared for that. And that gave Brick the 4-3 lead.
Acropolis with his second goal at 12:54. Here, look again.
But this is going to be a game saver right here. This happened with just 8 seconds to go. Watch Yankovic right there, point blank. He sprawls, dives to his left, and smothers the shot with just 8 seconds to go.
And we're set to start third period action. 4-3 Green Dragons leading the Chatham Cougars. The winner goes on to face the parochial champion, either Christian Brothers or Seton Hall. Here's Jimmy Wilson. Works free in front. Knocked away by Kale.
Nice move by Wilson, and better save by Kale. That time Wilson stepped inside. He was left untouched.
And it's stolen. Weesey coming in. Save Yankovic. Rebound Kogan. And it's gloved by Yankovic. Oh, two great saves by Dean Yankovic.
Both goaltenders putting on an exhibition here tonight. That time Yankovic makes the first save, unable to hold on to the rebound, and the second shot comes by and he sticks out the gauntlet, catches the puck and holds on for the whistle.
Dean Yankovic, a quiet leader for Chatham. Here's Weesey with the first shot.
Now watch Weesey taking a quick snapshot. That one Yankovic gets a piece of with his shoulder. Now watch Yankovic, he bops up real quick and then stops the second shot right there with the left glove.
Chatham try to work it free. They get it back to neutral ice, but it's dumped back in by Wandrus, a Brick. Peter Dunn. Ruiz drops it back. Third period of this public school final as Dunn slips. Ionello doesn't have his stick. And a whistle. I think we're going to penalty against Ionello.
He's going to go for a hooking. And I'm not sure. I think we can credit a smart play to the Chatham player. What he did was he kind of like cupped the stick with his armpit when it was stuck in there by the Brick player. Make no doubt about it. Nick Ionello put his stick in there, but watch as he kind of like clamps down with that left arm, and when he's tugging, makes no way, doesn't try to avoid going down at all, hangs onto the stick to make it look real good, and he draws the penalty.
So Chatham, they had scored a power play goal for their first goal this evening in the first period to cut the Brick deficit at the time at 2-1. The nail trial 4-3.
Let's see how Chatham plays this. When they had the power play early, they'd like to work it from the corner and from the side of the rink. Let's see if they do the same this time.
Cohen warded off. Cohen, Giro, Wilson out for Chatham. Kogvara dumps it in for Giro off the side of the net. Kale comes around as Giro tries the wraparound, but plenty of Brick defensemen there to help out goalie Jake Kale.
That time the puck was just flipped from the point. Looked like an innocent shot, but Giro jumped on it right away, whacked it as it was going towards the net, and Kale had to make the save.
Interesting statistic in the first two periods, Pete. Brick with a 26-16 shot advantage over the Cougars. But the Cougars have had some real good quality shots here today.
If not for the good play by both goaltenders, this score could be double digits.
Off the draw, Giro in front, scores! We're tied at 4.
Fred Giro, the senior captain, that time right off the faceoff. I don't think anybody knew where the puck was, but he knew where it was. It was in the skates of the Brick defenseman. He was able to sneak it out and slide it home. Watch right off the faceoff. It gets tied up. Now right there, he picks it up. What makes that goal work is he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't play around with the puck. As soon as he gets it on his stick, he rifles it home, and he keeps it on the ice. The toughest shot for a goaltender to stop are the ones that are right on the ice. It's a lot easier to move your arms than it is to move your feet.
And Giro had great position there in the slot, and he banged it home for his 10th goal of the season. At 2:33 of the third period, the power play goal for Chatham. We're tied at 4.
Well, Steve, now that we're tied at 4, we're in the third period. It's a good time to talk about the overtime procedure. If they are tied at the end of regulation, they will play an 8-minute overtime, a sudden death overtime. If at the end of 8 minutes they are still tied, they will go to a shootout, of which they will go 5 players against 5 players. If they are still tied after that, the shootout will continue for 5 more players. However, it will be a sudden death type shootout, and as soon as one team scores, the other team will have a chance to match. If they don't, the game's over.
And we'll see if we get to that point. Here's Wilson dumping it down ice for Chatham, and Giro trying to backtrack along with Acropolis, and they wrap themselves up, and Giro able to work it free. And cleared out by Sorrentino of Brick. 12:40 to go in the third period. We're tied at 4. You're watching the public school high school final here on Comcast Cablevision TV3. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano from the Mennen Sports Arena in Morris Township. Malacca and Cook for Chatham fighting for it. And Matty Cohen, the Otto Haas Award winner in the Morris County Scholastic League for sportsmanship. Well, he's been an offensive hero here today for Chatham with 3 goals. Now Harder's knocked down by Acropolis. Harder keeps it in. Back to the point. Cook winds up. Knocked aside nicely by Iannello. And Dunn will retrieve for the Chatham Cougars.
Nice play by Iannello. He came out to challenge the shooter and made the block.
Harder fans.
Actually, Steve, I think he broke his stick on the shot.
And the stick did break apart for Doug Harder. He gets another one. He's still on. 11:40 to go, third period. Plenty of time remaining. Kogvara comes back for Chatham. Ostrowski, 1-on-3. Nobody there. Takes a shot anyway. Kale with a glove save. Eric Ostrowski.
He juggled the shot a little bit as it was high. Kostrowski let a hard shot go, but it was high to the far side. That time Kale got his left shoulder on the puck and then was able to catch it as it was flipping in front of him. He was looking for a whistle and finally got one.
Well, when they've been even up here tonight, Pete, Brick has had the advantage in terms of shots, but Chatham has scored 2 power play goals, and they've certainly had quality shots as we see Kostrowski.
Right about the top of the circle. It's a good hard shot go. See right there, nice play by Kale. And now he holds on as the puck was bouncing right in front of him.
Off the draw. Brick trying to steer it out of their zone, but kept in. Finally knocked out. Here comes Kogan, 2-on-1. Amato, no, that's a shot. Save Jankovic.
That time Kogan used his teammate as a decoy, elected to shoot rather than pass. Let a real good shot go, but Jankovic was up to the task.
Kogan hits Wilson with his shot, with his stick. And here come the Cougars with Matty Cohen. Cohen comes in. Save Kale, rebound. And Kale has it. Matty Cohen almost had his 4th goal there.
End-to-end action, Steve, back and forth. Just a minute ago, you saw what happened and why these fellas now wear full face masks. On the follow-through of the shot, the stick came right up and hit the Chatham player flush in the face. It stunned him for a second, but did not hurt him. And then immediately after that, Chatham got the puck, came down, and if not a great save again by Jake Kale, Chatham would have increased their lead.
Pete, outside of the high sticking call against Allen Air in the first period, Chatham has stayed out of the penalty box. They've been able to play even up or in power play situations. Been a key here today so far for Chatham, but they've played awfully well. And we're tied at 4 with 10:32 to go. Iannello, big shot over the net. And Acropolis keeps it in, but there is Cook for Chatham. Randy Bray will chase it down with Kostrowski in pursuit. Randy Bray pins it in the corner, and Kostrowski will force the face-off.
That time it looked like a mismatch there as the two players were in the corner. And you see Eric Kostrowski, the junior left wing for Chatham. He's a big fella. He stands about 6'2", goes about 190. And he likes to take the body.
In the Star Ledger Ice Hockey Top 15, their latest one, Chatham 5th ranked, Brick number 6. They're in the public final. Number 1 CBA will be in the parochial final against number 11, Upstart Seton Hall. There's a shot for the point by Cook wide, deflected wide off the stick of Cohen, then back in front.
Cohen just missed that deflection.
There's a 3-on-1. Weesey on the left. Tries to slip it aside. Nice defense by Peter Dunn. Weesey in front and steered aside by Jankovic.
Dunn trying to redeem himself for the goal that he accidentally scored on his own net in the second period when the puck deflected off his skate.
The goal was dangerous. Kogan, Weesey, and Amato, the first line for Brick on the ice against Chatham's first line. Acropolis in front, just wide, steered aside. Amato for Brick, water off by Peter Dunn. An all-Morris defenseman for Chatham. Stick back nicely by Cook of Chatham, and back in neutral ice, retrieved by Kogan, who fires a long shot, which is steered aside easily by Jankovic with 9:08 to go in the third period.
That shot wasn't so easy, Steve. It's like a short hop in baseball. It skipped just about 5 feet in front of him, and when that happens, you never know how that bounce is going to go.
Jankovic has had to face some off-timed shots. That bounder by Acropolis that floated in, Kogan slipped it in high, and then of course the deflection off a Dunn's skate. So he's had to face some different speeds here tonight.
And that's tougher to do than the direct hard shot that you see and you can time.
8:38 to go, third period. We're tied at 4. Battle. Kokvara tries to keep it, and he does. Sorrentino trying to get it out for Brick, but Chatham putting the pressure on in the Brick zone. And knocked over the glass off the stick of Peter Dunn. I think Dunn's had a very strong game defensively.
Peter Dunn has played well for Chatham. A few of their guys have really put in real strong games. Jason Cook has played a real good game back there for them.
And of course the two goalies, Dean Jankovic for Chatham, Jake Kale for Brick, have been outstanding. 8:23 to go. Vinny Ruiz finally gets it across the line to Dykeman. And Dykeman is knocked down. Little Dykeman is taken out by Alan Ayer of Chatham.
Dykeman took one that time right to the face. And that's just a disadvantage of only being about 5 feet 2 inches.
And this is not the typical physical Brick team, Pete. We've known for years past, but they're still a very talented team. There's a hit hard by Giro, knocking Sorrentino into the boards.
Well, he let Sorrentino come as long as he wanted to.
Cohen comes in and can't get the stick down quite in time to get a good shot off against Kale. He's wrapped up a bit. Almost an opportunity. 7:28 to go, third period. Vinny Ruiz gets it back to neutral ice. Will Wilson tries to get in for Chatham. Wilson keeps it. Wilson attempts the wraparound, but plenty of Brick defense there, especially Steve Acropolis. Kogan across the Chatham line, high shot, steered aside by Jankovic.
End to end here, Steve, just going back and forth. Both goaltenders tested repeatedly.
Line change for the Cougars. Kostrowski, Harder, and Daggett out now. The second line for Chatham. Bray sends it down, and we'll have an icing call against the Green Dragons with 6:39 left in the third period.
Steve, you mentioned earlier about the top 15 and the way the teams are seeded. I just want to take a moment to thank Mike Morial from the North Star Ledger for helping us out with some of the statistics for today's game. Mike's the fellow who covers high school ice hockey for the Star-Ledger, does a great job.
When you look at the regular season standings that Mike publishes in the Star-Ledger, and Chatham finished second to Del Barton in the Mennen division of the Morris County Scholastic League. Brick was tied for fourth with Seton Hall in the National Conference A division of the New Jersey Interscholastic Hockey League. So neither team won their division, but they've advanced to a state final.
And that comes from hard work and dedication. We mentioned earlier those 6:30 in the morning practices before school. Here's where it pays off right now.
6:37 to go, 4-4. We'll see if we'll be headed to overtime or not. An 8-minute sudden death. Here's Cohen with a big shot over the net. Weesey tracks it down. Weesey moves in front, dangerous. In the crease, steered aside nicely by Dunn. Almost a dangerous opportunity there. Peter Dunn doing a nice job defensively for Chatham, along with Jason Cook, his defensive tag team partner. Worked along the boards. Weesey and Dunn trying to keep it alive. Cogan centers it. Randy Bray deflected. Dunn would love to clear it out, and he finally does.
Good hard pressure there by Brick, keeping the puck in the Chatham zone. Not getting any good shots off, but buzzing the puck all around the net, and that's what you have to do to score.
Big thing here, Pete. Timing your line changes in the final 5 minutes to keep your fresh guys on the ice in the final couple of minutes.
Well, the bench will shorten now. Each team will just rotate 2 lines, and that's it.
Right now, Chatham with their first line out of Giro, Cohen, and Wilson. Here's Acropolis sending one wide for Brick. Brick has Cohen off his skate. He tried to control it to his stick, and it just went a little too far as Vinny Ruiz recovers for Brick.
Steve, that's the exact play that Chatham lost to last year in Montclair. Sprung the guy right at the blue line. That time, Cohen just couldn't quite catch up to the puck, and he lost the opportunity, but that was close.
4:50 to go in regulation. 4-4. As we said, we'd have an 8-minute sudden death overtime period, and if they're still deadlocked, the 5-on-5 shootout, and they're still deadlocked, the sudden death shootout. Here's Cogan trying to solo it through. Covera back along with Dunn for Chatham. Jimmy Wilson trying to find Harder on the left wing, and they get an icing call.
Steve, let me just define a little bit the shootout. We mentioned after the first 5 shooters, if it's still tied, it goes almost like baseball, top of the inning, bottom of the inning. The guy on the top of the inning gets to shoot. If he scores, the fellow on the bottom of the inning gets to shoot. If he scores, they go again. If the guy on the top of the inning does not score and the bottom guy does, then the game's over. So it's almost like a top and bottom, the way you go through after you get through the first 5.
And it's a thrilling way to end the game, but we'll see if we get to that point. Kostrowski up the draw. Cogvara controls. Winds it around for Harder. Ruiz keeps it in for Brick. In a battle, Wandrus along with Cash. And Dunn gets it back for Kostrowski. Kostrowski warded off nicely by Vinny Ruiz. Chatham people wanting a penalty against Ruiz, but no call made. As you said, Pete, it's going to be, well, here we got it. We got a whistle. We're going to have a penalty.
And it's going to be against Chatham.
As Ruiz for Brick still in control, and we finally get the whistle. Kostrowski's going to go off.
Well, Justin Sorrentino leveled Kostrowski right in front of the net, and I think Kostrowski took exception to that and went back after the Brick player. And an ill-timed penalty with just 3:48 to go in a tied game. Watch the play. We're going to take a look at it in the corner. Right there. Oh, that's dangerous. That's one you have to call. Remember what I said earlier? You call penalties if it's either going to prevent a goal or cause an injury. That was the checking from behind. Could have been a charge, could have been boarding, any one of those. And when something like that happens, you have no alternative but to call it, whether you're in overtime or whether you're in the first minute of the game.
Checking from behind against Kostrowski. Harvey Cohen shaking his head.
He can't believe it, but if he sees the same replay we just saw, no doubt about it, that's a great call by Mark Labe.
Oh, what a game it's been, and we get down now to a power play situation for the Brick Green Dragons.
Take a look. You're going to see the player. He's got his back to the play, and that's what makes it so dangerous. Ed Kosh, the senior, can't see where the check is coming from.
Off the face, Amato coming in, and it's sticked aside by Jankovic. Very dangerous Brick is with his first line of Amato, Weesey, and Cohen. 3:29 to go in the period. A minute 39 on the power play. First power play for Brick here tonight.
Brick showing some patience here, not forcing the shot. They're looking for that man cutting down the slot.
Acropolis pumps it back, and Dunn able to try to keep it out. Acropolis loses control. Randy Bray will have to come back to neutral ice to retrieve for the Green Dragons.
There you see the clock in the lower right-hand corner. 3 minutes to go in the third period.
A minute 11 on the power play. Cohen warded off nicely by Dunn, checking along with Wilson. And Weesey works it free. Acropolis winds up, big shot wide.
He didn't miss by much, and to hit the puck on the fly like that is awful tough.
Centering pass for Cohen. Dunn again doing a nice job warding off Iannello, now out at wing. Centering pass in front. Dunn able to retrieve. 37 seconds left on the power play for Brick. Cohen keeps it in. 2:20 left in the third period. We're tied at 4. Centering pass for Acropolis. Plays it off the boards. Kogvara trying to keep Iannello away from the net.
A lot of patience, a lot of work by Brick, but they got to get some shots.
Centering pass. Acropolis knocks it down. Steered aside. 7 seconds on a penalty in front. Cohen scores!
That's been the play of the night. That spin around shot from about 20 feet out. And that time Cohen takes the pass from the corner. And with just 1:53 remaining in the third and 5 seconds left in the penalty, which will now expire, Brick takes a 5-4 lead. Tom Cohen, outstanding goal.
The hat trick for Cohen is 31st of the season.
Watch, there's a centering pass, stops it on his back here and just spins and fires, doesn't even look, just knows he's going to put it on net, keeps the puck low and hard, skips just past Jankovic, and Brick takes the 5-4 lead, and it looks like we're going to have a timeout here. I think we're going to have a timeout. Chatham has not come out to the face-off circle.
Maybe the most dangerous power play trio of forwards in New Jersey hockey. And Brick took advantage with Tom Cohen finding net with a one-timer off the feed, and Dean Jankovic helpless to stop that one.
There you see Bob Auriemma. Now he's going to get his troops together and say, okay, fellas, a minute 53. We think defense. Just get the puck and get it out. We're going to take a look at that goal again, and what makes it work is the quickness of the shot. He doesn't play with it. As soon as he gets it, he just turns around and fires. It appears to beat Dean Jankovic in the 5-hole between the legs. Jankovic went down early, but he goes into that butterfly. And when you go into that butterfly, you leave a little opening about 6 inches right between the pads, and that's where that shot snuck through.
Oh, what a game we've had here for you in the 1996 Public School State Final. And the Brick Green Dragons with a 5-4 lead with a minute 53 to go as Harvey, Cohen, and Chatham tries to map some strategy. They certainly have the guns to make something happen here in the final minute 53.
That they do for sure, Steve. Now the question is, when do you pull the goaltender? When do you pull Jankovic? We'll watch the clock. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere around the 1 minute mark, but it will depend on how well Chatham's controlling the play. If Brick keeps the pressure on Chatham, they may not allow Chatham to get that done.
Chatham with their second line of Kostrowski, Harder, and Daggett out here to start this stretch. Shot on goal, Jankovic steers aside as Weesey sent one from beyond the blue line, and Peter Dunn works a 3 for Chatham. A minute 34 to go. The Brick defense has done a nice job of keeping it away from Jake Cale in this period. Icing call, and we'll bring it back down for a face-off to the side of Jake Cale.
Ooh, this is tough. A minute 22. I think it's a little early to pull him just yet. But what he may do is creep out a little bit. Now, because of the way the benches are situated, The netminder for Chatham is closest to his bench. So we'll keep an eye on him, but it's not going to be long before he comes to the bench and the extra skater goes out.
And Chatham sends out their first line for this final 122. Cohen will take the face with Giro and Wilson. Brick's best against Chatham's best here. From the point, Caggiano knocked down nicely by Cohen, and Dunn will retrieve for the Cougars. Sent back by Amato, and Caggiano will have to come back. 1:10 to go. Third period, Brick 5, Chatham 4. Last chance for the Cougars. Caggiano across the line, looks to center. Caggiano still working.
Chatham pulled their goaltender. This is it.
Jankovic is off for the final 49 seconds. Giro comes back. The extra skater, we'll see if it works for the Cougars. 42 seconds to go. Caggiano, with neutral ice, will dump it in. Acropolis clears. Ionello will come down. The net is empty. And an icing call against the Green Dragons with 29 seconds left. Another chance for the Cougars.
Boy, that just made it over the goal line. Mark Lape skating stride for stride with the puck, and as soon as it crossed the goal line, he raised his hand. But that just made it over. As you mentioned, 29 seconds. What Chatham has to do here is they have to put pressure on the puck. As soon as the puck is loose, or wherever it is, they have to be there. They can't take a lackadaisical attitude. There's only 29 seconds to go. A few times when the puck was just dumped in, guys were coasting in after it. You can't afford to do that right now. You have to bust your hump and get the puck.
Not enough time to mess around at all, and Harvey Cohen knows that his Chatham Cougars, and they'll take a timeout.
This time, Brick is taking their timeout because they want to make sure they have the right fellows out there to defend for the last 29 seconds.
And this is Bob Auriemma at his best. He knows he wants to have just the right alignment defensively to work against Chatham's last shots.
There you take a look at the Brick crowd. They're awful happy right now.
And I'll tell you, Pete Caggiano, I may have not been as enthusiastic about the public school tournament when it started last year, but I'll tell you, the last two public finals have been dynamite hockey games. Montclair 3-2 in sudden death overtime over Chatham last year in the inaugural clash, and right here, 5-4 Brick on Cogan's power play goal with 1:53 to go in regulation. It's been two great games.
Well, that whole effort was spearheaded by Harvey Cohen, the coach of Chatham, and his team has been in both of those great games that you mentioned. Last year he came out on the short side. Tonight he's trailing by one with a half a minute to go. But that effort, it's the work of people like Harvey Cohen and the High School Ice Hockey Coaches Association that was able to make that change with the NJSIAA to give you two separate championships, a public and a private.
And it's been exciting, to say the least, in its first 2 years. And right here, the last 29 seconds for the Chatham Cougars to try to avoid a second straight year of losing by a single goal in the public final. Kostrowski, Giro, Cohen, Wilson, so the four forwards out. The net is empty. Jankovic on the bench, off the draw, from the point. Dunn winds up, knocked down. Dunn looking back, he might pass to Caggiano, he does. Caggiano with a big shot, steered aside by Kale, 17 seconds to go. Then it's knocked back down, just wide of the net with the icing call. So with 13 seconds left, Chatham's gonna have one more shot.
They'll have one more, but good save by Jake Kale. That time the shot came from the point about 50 feet out. The key is that Kale was able to see it all the way. He went down, stuck out the right pad, made the save, and then his defense did the good job of clearing the puck and knocking it down the ice. Watch the shot as it comes right there. The big windup. It's Paul Caggiano shooting it. Notice he had the stick flat, using the wide part of the blade of the stick to cover the 5-hole.
And back to neutral ice off the draw. Only 8 seconds left. Caggiano of Chatham has to hurry. He dumps it down. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and that's it. The Brick Green Dragons are the 1996 Public School State Champions. They have defeated the Chatham Cougars 5-4. Oh, what a finish.
Steve, take a look at them. They're a happy group out there. They earned it tonight. They worked hard. They made the plays they had to make, and they kept Chatham out of the real intense part of the game. When Chatham started to come on, Brick would just bring it up a notch. But let's also tip our hat to Chatham. They played real well. They put on a hell of a show tonight. They deserve accolades also.
Brick will move on to face the parochial champion, either Christian Brothers Academy or Seton Hall in the overall state championship. But they are the public champs. 5-4 over Chatham. We'll come back with some final comments right after this. Yes, I'm right here, Paul. I would say skip the players and the coaches. I think, Pete, we're just going to do, Pete would prefer this and give Doug plenty of time. No, we'll wrap it up. Well, we could, you want to, if you put the camera here, we could sit here with the headsets on, do the wrap up right here. Do you mind doing the headsets? Let's do I'd rather do the headsets. I think it's a more comfortable look. Can you pull up a chair, Pete?
Well, as soon as Doug gets up, I'll get that chair.
Once again, the final score of the 1996 Public School State Championship, Brick 5, Chatham 4, and Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano back for the wrap-up of today's game. And Pete, what a great effort by both teams. Chatham goes down again by a goal in the championship of the public final, but a great effort by both teams.
Outstanding effort by both teams. Back and forth, the lead changed hands a few times, but we saw tonight an excellent game, and it was a game where the better team did win.
And Brick winning with 1:53 to go. Tom Cohen, he had the hat trick. He scored his 31st goal of the year, a power play, and it was a great shot by Cohen.
Cohen does a great job. He gets the pass on his backhand, but doesn't hesitate. Just immediately spins around, lets a quick shot go right on the ice. It beats Yankovic between the legs, and that power play goal, there was just 5 seconds left before the player would have come out of the box.
And it was a legitimate penalty. You have to call that checking from behind in that situation, a very obvious call.
Absolutely. Mark Labe was right on top of the play. That's a dangerous play. As I mentioned earlier, the penalties you're going to have called are those that are going to take away a scoring opportunity or cause an injury, and that's a play you must call, whether it's the first minute of the game or overtime.
And Chatham had 2 power play goals of their own, and they came back after a 2-0 deficit to go ahead 3-2, tied it on Fred Giro's power play goal in the third period. But Brick's first line, they're awfully effective, and you can't give them a power play situation.
They skate and shoot so well. They've been working together for a couple of years now. They know where each other's going to be on the ice. It's almost like they don't have to think about it. They just put the puck to the open spot, and there he is ready to pick it up.
It's going to be an all-New Jersey Interscholastic Hockey League final, whether it's CBA or Seton Hall against Brick. And these two teams know each other very well, whether it is CBA or Seton Hall against Brick. And it should be a great overall final. And certainly Brick is a proud public champion.
Brick, definitely proud. Definitely a team that should be there. They'll give a good game, whether it's CBA or Seton Hall. Remember, all 3 of those teams play in the National Conference A division, so they've seen each other quite a few times this year.
But a game effort by the Chatham Cougars. Unfortunately for them, Brick comes away with a big championship victory in the public school final. 5-4, the Green Dragons win. I want to thank our director, Paul Machowski. For Pete Caggiano, I'm Steve Tober saying good night, everybody, and thanks for watching.